those of you who don't know me, my name is Craig Bowden, and I'm running for Utah's 1st Congressional District, running against Rob Bishop, and that basically encompasses all of northern Utah. Now, 2 years ago I ran for the exact same position, and I was standing here, well, I was in Draper, but I was standing before the party to ask for a vote again, and I am here to again ask for your guys' vote and your support. 2 years. So what has happened in those 2 years? Well, I can tell you that 2 years ago, when I was running, the national debt was at $18.6 trillion. If I were to be elected, the national debt is projected to be at $20.3 trillion. So where we're sitting is government is still failing to spend responsibly. It is my hope that I am going to be able to propose legislation that will limit government spending, especially when it comes to the waste. You know, when we're talking about studies being performed on the gas expulsions of earthworms, that's not the kind of stuff that the federal government needs to be funding. That is something that a private organization can do, and that is something that needs to be done. We don't need to be spending trillions of dollars, and especially $1 trillion more than what we even take in revenues. 2 years ago, they were talking about going back to Iraq and Syria, and now we're there. Now, this is a very personal issue for me because 10 years ago, I actually left my last set of food trips in the sands of Iraq. And I just found out this morning that the unit that I left when I exited active duty is actually the one that has been tasked to be a ground combat element to fight ISIS. This has been going on for far too long, and it's time to bring people. This year I'll also be turning 32. I may seem young, but I have a lot of experience. Now, in those 32 years, more than half of those we have spent in Afghanistan. Again, it's time to bring them home. We're talking about over a decade of our young men and women being sent over and sent back in flag-draped coffins, and the cost is too much. We went and we did what we were supposed to do. The objective was to get Osama bin Laden. We did. It's done. It's time to bring them home. Now, a lot has not changed in the last 2 years. Obviously, we talked about the government wasteful spending. We can also talk about how they're continuing to infringe on civil liberties. Just a few more miles down the road, we have the Draper NSA facility. Now, I don't know about you, but I like my privacy. And the common excuse is if you're doing nothing wrong, you have nothing to hide. Well, I'm sorry, but it's none of your business what I do. You know, on top of the civil liberties aspect, we also have to look at the environmental impact of that facility. Now, the most recent reports that I was able to find are that the Draper facility at maximum capacity would use 1.7 million gallons of water per day. Now, the state of Utah has a population of 2.9 million people. So literally what we are talking about is with the average person needing to drink about a half gallon of water a day, we are talking about using the hydration of every single citizen in Utah to cool down some computers. And we're one of the driest states. So one of my first acts, if I were to be elected, would be to introduce legislation that would remove that NSA facility. The last thing that I can really say is that I am very active and I care. I've been fighting for a long time. I'm going to continue the fight, and I need everyone to support. I'm the only federal candidate that I was aware of that's running in Utah. So that means that everybody here, whether you can support with your vote, sharing articles that are written, sharing things on social media, we can spread the word about this campaign. And I'm also asking everybody to step up and put money where their mouth is. This could be a winnable race, but the first thing we have to do is get into the debates. I can get into the debates with a minimum of 6% with their plus and minus that they use in the commission. If I can get into that debate, I know I can beat politicians. And that's what we aim to do. Thank you.